Top of the morning, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury, and Deontay Wilder 3. You know the third fight is going to eventually happen some way or sometime down the line, and I was just thinking, like, why is this Glovegate pushed? Why is it pushed this much? Like, what's behind it? There's no real evidence on it. There's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of accusation. There's a lot of shun, right? But there's no action as far as evidence and something they can really hold on to. Okay, something that's tangible. And I'm thinking, like, well, why is it? Why is this being pushed so much by Wilder fans and not Wilder, right? And then it hit me. The second fight, the rematch, it wasn't competitive. Counterpunch. It wasn't a competitive fight. Wilder really didn't put up a good fight at all. It was a couple right hands landed by Wilder. He landed them early. He landed them in the first round, and I know in the second round. He might have got one off in the third, but he went down in the third. When he started going down, everything else went downhill. Okay? There was no back and forth. There was no, okay, Wilder hits him with this and Fury comes back with that. No. Wilder swings, hits him with the right hand. Fury reciprocates with left hooks, infighting. And that's what it continues to be, round after round after round. Wilder getting hurt, Wilder's wobbling, Wilder's all over the place, Wilder's down. And that's it. We had no competitiveness at all between these fights. Like, if you look at Joshua Ruiz 1, we did see some type of back and forth. That's what made that fight very exciting. It was an upset. But what made it exciting was Joshua, when he hurt Andy Ruiz, that's when everything changed, right? Something had to happen first. Now, it would be different that Wilder would have knocked him down or dropped him. That would have made it like, okay, now we can see what the drive is for the third fight. Okay, we can see that, hey, Wilder hits him with that right. He still has that dangerous power, and he hit Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury went down. But Tyson Fury got back up and hurt him surprisingly and changed the whole formation of the fight. That didn't happen. That happened in Joshua Ruiz 1, though. Joshua knocked him down, the first guy to do it and the only guy to ever knock down Andy Ruiz. Okay, he was slapped with a left hook he didn't see, but you could tell he was surprised by the power as he was sitting there on the seat of his pants with his hands behind his back and thinking, what happened? But when he got back up, he showed who he really was. He showed, hey, I'm going to get in there. I'm not going to fold. I'm not going to quit. The fight has just began. And he beat Anthony Joshua, okay? And even when the third round, it wasn't just kind of like downhill. Joshua had some moments in that fight. Wilder didn't have any moments after that, okay? He got beat up, kept getting beat up round 2. Round 3, he gets dropped. Round 4, he gets beat up. Round 5, he gets dropped. Then the point deduction. Round 6, he gets beat up. Round 7, he gets beat up until they're like, look, we can't take this no more. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to see this brother go out like that. Mark Breland called it. The referee said he was going to call it. But why do you think that is? What does the referee say when a fighter's taking too much punishment? Show me something. So what did Wilder show us, people? He didn't show us anything. Okay? Now, he didn't willingly go down. He was, I just think he was just getting beat into submission. And I don't think he would have quit until he would have just been beat just all the way, probably pulled some. It would have probably ended like Ward Kovalev too. He's either bent over and getting punched, and then they decide to stop it. But he was in the corner taking punches, but he wasn't really. He threw back once right after they stopped it. He threw one, you know. So, or should I say, right before they stopped it, he threw a punch. I think he threw like a left hook, I believe, you know. But it had no power. It was an arm shot, you know. And Fury was starting to step back and then step in with punchings, but it was just Fury, 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 and Fury. That's all it was. It wasn't Fury, Wilder, this, that, and the other. So, saying all that to say this, why is the Glovegate so pushed and so enforced, and people are so adamant on pushing that agenda, that narrative, making it believable, trying to believe it? You know, I mean, they do this day in and day out, okay? Maybe because it really wouldn't be anything to talk about, but no, seriously. The reason for the Glovegate is because of the fight itself. Glovegate had to be created, people. It had to, because if it wasn't created, then there would be no reason for the third fight. People wouldn't want to buy it. People would say, well, damn, Fury beat him the first time. Then he just beat the shit out of him in the second fight. So why would we want to see a third fight? And by the way, the second fight, money-wise, it barely broke even, okay? So I think what Bob is getting on to, Bob Arum, he's trying to wait until they get that extra revenue, knowing based on the other two fights between these two guys, for the first fight wasn't too bad. It at least did what it's supposed to do. But the second fight barely broke even. Now we have a third fight between these guys on top of a Corona season and life-changing world global stuff going on. Bob Arum's looking at that like, no, I want this fight to be pushed to get that crowd because we need the extra money, because these guys, without the revenue from the gate, we can't pay these guys. And then we lose money. That's what Bob's thinking about. But the problem of that is how the second fight went. If it was competitive, at least, we'd have said, oh man, Wilder's going to get it this time. He just got hurt with this punch, this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? And man, you know, who's going to win that third fight? Nobody's really saying that. I mean, by default, they are underestimating Wilder, you know. Wilder has a punching chance. I think he will always have a puncher's chance if he can hit you just right. But the second fight didn't produce any resistance. You know, it was just one guy beating another guy. So why would people want to pay for that, to see that again? Unless, people, there was some kind of conspiracy or something that was wrong with Wilder or something that was wrong with Fury that was allowing him to do that, and Wilder was getting beat. It was some type of unfairness in that fight. Of course, there you go. That's the reason for Glovegate. It was created because there was no competitiveness. Wilder didn't put up a fight. Wilder got beat up here and there. He got skull drugged, really. He beat the man. Wilder didn't get any knockdowns. He got some good punches off, I feel. But, I mean, how good were they? Because Tyson just shook him off. He didn't show any type of, okay, I'm hurt. Okay, let me recover from this punch. None of that. So you see that. Why would someone want to watch that again? You know, and I think that's what Bob's fearing. But for the Wilder fans, back to them, they created this. They needed to believe this. This has to be real. This has to be true. And some of these people, they really believe that. Like, oh, he cheated, no doubt about it. But a lot of them deep down, no, it wasn't that case. And the fact of just considering that Tyson Fury didn't cheat scares the shit out of them. Why? Because Tyson Fury beat the shit out of Deontay Wilder. That's why. Then if it was fair and square, there would be no excuse whatsoever. They couldn't say anything. They couldn't do anything. There was nothing they could say. That's what they would do, because it would be, okay, damn, Wilder went out like that. You know, I mean, it shows good commitment, but then again, it had to be created because a guy that's a Wilder fan knows that, hey, you're fighting for more than just legacy. You're fighting for the legitimacy of that fighter. Okay, can that fighter still sell? If you're backing a fighter, you have to create something that creates a buzz or create some type of story on why he was defeated. That's what Glovegate's for. Now I get it. I get why they're doing that. They have to. Because Wilder didn't show anything in the second fight. And if it was fair and square, there would be no need for the third fight. Okay? And then they would have to admit, man, my boy got beat up. You know, he'll come back. But Tyson Fury was just too much for him that night. Stuff like that. And it would kill them to accept that. Therefore, Glovegate was created. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.